the truth.
Welcome guys to part 2 of our Hydrographics mods for the Fatshark hd2s. So first of all, preparation. So the part will need to be sanded. I've already done this with 500 grit wet and dry. All that you're trying to do is basically just scuff up the surface a bit. You want to get rid of the shininess. As you can see, the Fatshark logo is gone. I haven't gone all the way through to the bare plastic, but it's just been roughened up, so you don't have to go overboard. You're just taking some of the shine off it. Once you've done that, you've got to look at primers. So I always use a Flexi Prime. Whether you use this one or a different brand doesn't really matter, but it has to be suitable for acrylic paints. I use Flexi Prime mainly because of the plastics. As they twist and bend, it won't crack. It's just a lot better. You're not talking about a really hard surface, like you're not talking about a brick or wood or concrete. So it will flex, it will move, so you don't want it to peel. Now there's two different types, or there could be three, but yeah. There's a primer putty, and that's just your standard primer. Primer putty, if you have a part that is it's got a lot of imperfections, I would use a primer putty on it. It just fills some of the gaps. It does it as you're spraying it, but you still don't want to go over too hard. It won't fill huge voids, but it will give you a better surface for the paint to adhere to. You can now, normally I paint with a spray gun, but just to show you guys, I'm doing it all with spray cans. So I've bought these from the local hardware shop. Just a satin white paint, acrylic paint, and a clear. Normally I just use my touch-up gun because I like to put a few effects into the clear coat, which you can put a bit of pearl into it. You can put a bit of black into it to give it a slight tint, but I'm going to do it this way just to show you guys. You need to let it dry for at least an hour. So you've put one coat on, whether it's a primer, the paint, whatever it is, you put one coat on. Obviously you will need to pull them apart. If you were to spray them as it is right now, the paint would go into the edges, and then what would happen, you're basically sealing it up, and as you're trying to pull it back apart, you would have issues with chips and things like that. So these goggles will be pulled apart, and each part will be painted separately. Before I paint them, once I'm happy with the sanded finish, I will get a bit of methylated spirits, and I'll just clean the part. I will wear gloves, mainly so because you don't want any oils transferred from your fingers onto the part, because then the primer has a chance of not sticking. Now I'm keeping these, so I need to mask it. Instead of stuffing around with putting down some masking tape and then using an X-Acto knife to cut around it and bloody have bits and pieces that are missing, or I've cut too much, or I haven't, I've undercut it. All that I've done is I've placed a goggle like this on my scanner at home, and put a dark shirt over the top of it, and print it onto basically it's a sticker paper. I probably won't be able to bloody peel it off, but it's just from Officeworks. It's not really expensive, but as you can see, so it's just sticky paper. If you save it on a scanner as a PDF, that'll mean it's exactly the same size. As long as when you print it, you print actual size, you don't go fit to page or anything like that. So all that I'm going to do now is cut around it and stick them on top. So that way, once I've primed it, once I've painted it, once I've hydrographics and then done a clear coat onto it, I'll just peel these off and it's all good. Alright, when you're spraying, make sure how you do it. You start spraying just before the part so that you've got good coverage, and then you finish after the part. So you will always start here and spray, obviously not this close, but yeah, with the camera angle it's hard. That's how you want it, because if you were to start spraying here, you're going to get overspray in some areas, and it's just going to look like crap. So you always start on the outside, work your way in. Whether you do the top or bottom first doesn't really matter. It doesn't make any difference. But yeah, just a few hints and tips. The hydrographic films, a lot of them have got, like mine has, it has got clear parts in it. So which means whatever you do the base coat, that's what's going to come through the actual hydrographics film. I'll show you a photo of my motorbike, the fender that I'd done, which had to have a yellow base coat to make the flames stand out, because that was the clear part of it. So if I was to paint this blue and then hydrographic with my current film, the pattern would be black and blue, because the blue would be showing through the clear parts of the film. So you got to take that into account, but it can help you create better effects. Alright, so I'll pause the video now and pull them apart, and then we'll start giving them the first prime. Welcome back. Alright, so the parts have been cleaned, they've been sanded. So what we're going to do now, like small parts like this, I'll make little handles out of just sticky tape, just to make it a bit easier for me to hold it, so that I'm not putting my fingers like this to spray. Another thing I forgot to mention, some of the spray cans, I don't know whether this will focus, have got special nozzles. This one, how it's set up at the moment, will give you a pattern that is vertical, sorry. So as you're spraying, it'll be a nice wide pattern this way. If you were to turn the red part here, which is this way, which is horizontally, that's how the pattern's going to be. So the pattern will go this way. So if you want to spray up and down, that's how you would have the nozzle. Not all of the paint tins have that, but yeah, just something that you should know. Obviously, give it a good shake up. Have a clean surface, and your work is only as good as your prep. So alright, so we'll start now. Just going to make it a bit harder. I might zoom out a little bit so I'm not putting spray over the other parts, which I'll move over here a bit. And now this is a clear primer, so yeah. That's all it pretty much needs. Obviously, if you're using a primer that has got a bit of colour in it, you'll be able to see a lot better what's happening. But yeah, I'm not so. And it's a bit cold in Australia at the moment, so it makes it a bit hard. I'm going to have to wait a little bit longer for it to dry. And you're just giving it a dusting, that's all you are. So it's just got a little bit of shine on it now. A little bit down here I see I've missed, so I just hold it nice and away from it and see how it's shined up now a bit. And that's all. Any more than that and you're going to get you're going to get overspray and it'll start, you don't want it to run. Once the paint starts running, oh, it's a bloody pain in the ass. You start doing a lot of sanding, which I did with on the motorbike when I was starting. That's pretty much it for that part. Now we wait. Okay, welcome back. So the primer has dried. If you have a part that is imperfect, as in it's still got some dints or whatever, whether it's a 3D printed part or not, you will give it a sand. That's what the primer is designed for. It's designed to fill and help you fill the gaps and bond with the actual material. So if it needs to, sand it off. Like on my motorbike, I've done probably 2 coats of primer and about 3 coats of paint. So yeah, nice. These rail cans, this one says that it's paint and prime, but yeah, look, whether you can use it just by itself or not, it's, yeah, I'm not willing to test it and then spend 2 hours sanding my my goggles back because the paint didn't stick. So give it a good shake. As you can see, this one's a cheap can, so the nozzle you can't change which directions it's spraying or not. And I've got wind now, which makes it a bit of a pain in the ass. Yeah, good luck spraying in that wind. So you don't want to overdo it. Just a little coat. That because you don't want it to run. When it starts running, it's just it's a hell of a time to sand it back. And yeah, like I said, I've done it heaps of times on my motorbike, and yeah, it's not much fun. As you can see on this part especially, it's not perfectly coated, but that's where I'm going to leave it. That's given it enough to bond, and then I'll give it a second coat which will fix up the imperfections. So just don't want to put it on too thick. Okay. And don't spray your watch like I've just seen that I've done. And that's what we need. That's it. So now we'll just leave it at that and come back when it's dried a bit, and we'll do another coat.